President Trump's former personal attorney, Emil Bove, is one step closer to a lifetime appointment as a federal appeals court judge. That is despite deep opposition from Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who actually walked out in protest, as you can see here, as Republicans advance Bove's nomination.
With all appeals to past jurisdiction and past precedent, why are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's all we have here, Mr. Chairman.
This is wrong. To violate your own rules.
Now, for context, Bove is currently the #3 official at the Justice Department. During his confirmation hearing last month, he repeatedly denied allegations of corruption at the DOJ that includes claims that he deliberately plotted to violate court orders to advance the president's mass deportation plans. Joining me now is one of the senators seen exiting today's hearing, Democrat Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island. Senator, I really appreciate you taking the time. So we saw you in the video pointing a finger and more of your colleagues rising and leaving. What was going through your mind at that point? What was happening at that point?
What was happening at that point was that the Republican chairman of the Judiciary Committee was breaking one of the committee rules. Ordinarily, you get to a vote after everybody's done talking and there's no objection to going to a vote. If the chairman wants to go to a vote and somebody objects, there's a rule that says the objector can demand a vote, allowing the chairman to proceed with the substantive vote. And that was what Senator Booker was doing. He was saying, look, you can't just roll me. I'm entitled to a vote on your decision to move to the substantive vote without all of us being heard and over our objection. So that would have been one more vote. They could have tabled Senator Booker. They could have simply voted him down. But instead of doing that, they just called the vote while he was talking. And so you had the clerk of the court starting to call the vote, interrupting a speaking United States senator in violation of an existing rule. And that was like, okay, we've put up with enough of this. So we got up to get out to take away the quorum that the chairman then enjoyed. So this is going to play out more as we talk about what happened with the parliamentarian, but this was a serious, unprecedented rule breaking to jam this guy through, and it's highly suspicious because it's happening side by side with this effort to have Trump judges bottle up the hearing in court, the contempt hearing in court that would reveal Bove's role in that incident you talked about, where they were planning to ultimately disobey court orders and tell courts, believe it or not, F you.
And we're still waiting on an appeals court ruling on that front, which is what the senator is referencing.
Yeah, which has been 3 months for a type of ruling that's supposed to last, days.
And Senator, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I was just going to ask that your colleagues, Senator Chris Van Hollen and Dick Durbin, just on a separate issue, are calling on Attorney General Pam Bondi to immediately release any files on Epstein and that they don't need a bill to do so. Is that something you support? Are you among those calling for the release of more on this?
Yeah, I think at this point it's pretty important that all the appropriate information get released. When you've got everybody from Laura Loomer to Dick Durbin saying, hey, this information should come out, that's a pretty broad spectrum of opinion. And I think the president, and more particularly Attorney General Bondi, particularly after she made all these, big reveal promises, she's put herself under a pretty considerable obligation to get out from under the mess she made and to provide a lot more disclosure than she has.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Venn diagram between Laura Loomer and Dick Durbin is that big. So yes, a rare issue indeed.
This maybe is one cross point.
Yeah, this might be it. But I want to ask too about a lot going on Capitol Hill, as you know, the cuts to federal spending that we're watching. The House is going to vote to give it final approval tonight. If passed, it'll end federal funding to public broadcasting for the first time since the 60s, when the law approves funding was passed. How will the cuts in this bill impact your area? Like, do you know if TPR, the public broadcaster in your state, will shut down or be affected, or any operation?
It's hard to tell, because I think to get the bill passed, there may have been some private deals cut in Leader Thune's office with OMB director vote. So it's not at all clear what the actual upshot will be. One thing that is clear, though, is that the decision by the Republicans for the first time in Senate history to blow through the appropriations process and put a partisan rescission through really does damage to bipartisan appropriations. And so the whole appropriations process has taken a real blow from this partisan act and from the following statement by Russell Vogt that they need a lot less bipartisanship in appropriations.
Yeah. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, appreciate the time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.